All right, today we're going to dig into one of the most profound mysteries in all of human history. We're talking about a sudden, catastrophic event that might have literally erased an entire chapter of our story. What happened? And maybe more importantly, could it happen again? Let's get into it.
Okay, I want you to picture the world, nearly 13,000 years ago. For thousands and thousands of years, our planet has been locked in this deep freeze. But now, finally, the great ice sheets are pulling back. The world is warming up. Life is returning. You can almost feel it in the air, right? A sense of hope. And then, bam, almost overnight, everything changed. Without any warning, that hope for a stable, new world was just extinguished. The planet got thrown right back into the depths of the Ice Age. I mean, all the progress humanity had made, it just slammed into a brick wall. Any emerging cultures just vanished. And for more than 1,000 years, the story of our species, it just goes dark. This mysterious black box in our past is what we call the Younger Dryas. Now, to really grasp just how devastating this was, we've got to rewind to the world right before the catastrophe. About 13,000 years ago, life was actually getting better. The glaciers were melting, filling up rivers and lakes, animals were moving back into lands that were once covered by ice, and of course, humans were following them, starting to settle down, building communities. And you have to understand, this was a huge psychological shift for us. We were finally moving beyond a simple day-to-day struggle to survive. People were starting to plan, to build for tomorrow. A future, for maybe the very first time, seemed like something you could actually create. But that future, it never arrived. Instead, the entire climate system just collapsed. The warming trend didn't just stop, it violently reversed, triggering a sudden and catastrophic deep freeze that would change the course of history forever. What's truly staggering is the speed this all happened. I mean, in geological time, the switch from a warming world back to a full-blown ice age happened almost instantly. This was not a gradual cooling. This was a planetary shock that lasted for 1,200 years. And the consequences, they were apocalyptic. Temperatures plummeted across the northern hemisphere. Vast forests just died off. Critical rainfall patterns just stopped, turning green landscapes into dust. And those great ice sheets, they stopped retreating and started to advance once more. The world was dying. So what in the world could cause such a sudden global catastrophe? For decades, scientists were just baffled. But now, a leading theory points not to something on Earth, but to a visitor from space. They call it the impact hypothesis. The basic idea is that our planet got hit by the scattered fragments of a comet that was breaking up. So there isn't one single giant crater to find. It was more like a cosmic shotgun blast, with evidence of a widespread violent event scattered all over the globe. And you know what? There's a really compelling forensic trail that supports this. All over the world, geologists find layers of melted materials and shocked minerals that could only have been formed by some kind of extreme heat and pressure. They find these strange carbon-rich layers, called black mats, right where the giant animals all go extinct. And maybe most chilling of all, evidence of wildfires that spanned entire continents. An impact like this would actually explain the effects perfectly. The explosion would have thrown enough dust and debris into the atmosphere to block out the sun, causing a sudden dramatic cooldown. The heat blast would ignite global fires, and the shockwave hitting the ice sheets, that would have triggered unimaginable floods. The aftermath of the impact and the freeze is just as important as the event itself. The destabilization of those ice sheets led to one of the most dramatic consequences of all, a rapid, violent rise in sea levels. Now, this wasn't a gentle rise. This was a surge. We're talking trillions of tons of fresh water pouring into the oceans, drowning coastlines all around the world. Entire landscapes, places where people may have lived for generations, were simply wiped off the map, lost forever beneath the waves. And this raises a fascinating question. I mean, think about it. Nearly every ancient culture on Earth has a great flood myth. They all tell stories of some lost golden age, of advanced ancestors, or sunken lands like Atlantis. Could these myths be a kind of cultural memory? A distorted echo of a very real global catastrophe? And if that wasn't strange enough for you, there's a piece of physical evidence that justifies everything we thought we knew about this time period. A stone monument in modern-day Turkey called Gobekli Tepe.
Just let that number sink in for a second. Over 11,000 years old. That makes it more than twice as old as the pyramids of Giza and older than Stonehenge by 6 millennia. And here's the kicker. It was built right as the Younger Dryas was ending.
This is the impossible paradox of Gobekli Tepe. According to our standard timeline of history, this thing should have been built by primitive hunter-gatherers. But they created this massive, complex, astronomically aligned stone temple before the invention of agriculture, writing, or cities. So, how? What was its purpose? Some researchers speculate it wasn't just a temple. Maybe it was an observatory to track the heavens, or a refuge for the survivors of the cataclysm, or maybe even a memorial, a message to future generations about a world that was lost.
Because as suddenly as the Younger Dryas began, it ended. The cold snap just broke, the planet warmed up rapidly, and civilization as we know it began. But this brings up the most profound question of all. With the new, stable climate of the Holocene, agriculture was invented almost at the same time in several places around the world. Cities emerged. The history we read in textbooks finally began. But what if it wasn't the first time? What if humanity was simply picking up the pieces and starting again? When you piece all of this together, the sudden freeze, the evidence of an impact, the flood myths, these impossible structures, you are left with one inescapable and frankly terrifying conclusion about our world. Here's the real takeaway. We see our world as stable and our civilization as permanent, but the geological record shows us that our planet can undergo violent, catastrophic change with almost no warning at all. Our ancestors learned this lesson the hard way. The story of the Younger Dryas isn't just about the past. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of our own existence, how we're all balanced on a knife's edge. It serves as a permanent, chilling question for the future.